It was a quiet night at Thornfield Hall. The sky was dark, and the house was still. Suddenly, a strange laugh came from the corridor. It made Jane feel cold. She opened her door and looked around. Smoke filled the air. It came from Mr. Rochester's room. Jane ran inside and saw fire on his bed curtains. She called his name and shook him. He woke up scared. Jane helped him stop the fire. He looked at her and said, "You saved my life, Jane." That night, Jane could not sleep. Her hands shook, and her heart was fast. She sat on her bed and looked out the window. Rain fell on the glass. Jane thought about Mr. Rochester. He could have died in the fire. What if she had not heard the laugh? What if she had not gone to help? As she sat there, new feelings came to her. Jane knew the truth now. She loved Mr. Rochester. Her heart hurt, but she also felt warm. The next morning, everything felt strange. The happy sounds of the house were gone. Mr. Rochester had left Thornfield without a word to Jane. Jane asked Mrs. Fairfax, "Where is Mr. Rochester?" She said he went to visit his rich friends. One of them is a woman named Miss Ingram. Jane felt a pain in her heart. She is pretty and rich, she thought. I am not. He will never love me. But still, she hoped he would come back. Before Thornfield, I lived at Gateshead Hall. My aunt, Mrs. Reed, took care of me after my parents died. But she did not love me. Her children were not kind to me. John Reed was the worst. He hit me and called me names. One day he threw a book at me. I cried and fought back. But Mrs. Reed got angry at me, not at John. She said I was a bad girl. She told me I would leave the house. I felt sad and alone. I had no one. My aunt never listened to me. She only cared about her children. One day, a tall man came to the house. His name was Mr. Brocklehurst. He talked with my aunt. He said he ran a school for girls and could take me there. Mr. Brocklehurst was not a kind man. He said bad girls must be punished. My aunt told him lies about me. She said I had a bad heart and could not be trusted. Soon I left Gateshead Hall. I was going to Lowood School. I did not cry. I was ready to leave. I hoped life there would be better than life with Mrs. Reed. At Lowood School, life was hard. The food was cold and not good. Our clothes were thin. In winter, we were cold all the time. Many girls got sick. We had to wake up early each day. The teachers were strict. We sat for hours in cold rooms. We learned reading, writing, and sewing. But I was often hungry. One teacher was different. Her name was Miss Temple. She was kind to us. She spoke with a soft voice and smiled. I felt safe when she was near. Spring came, but it brought bad news. A disease came to the school. Many girls became very sick. Some of them died. I was very scared. The air was wet and cold. Some rooms were full of sick girls. We were told to stay away. I stayed healthy. Miss Temple gave me warm tea and bread. After that, the school changed. A doctor came. The food became better. We had warmer clothes and beds. Life at Lowood slowly became good. I stayed at Lowood for many years. I studied hard. I listened to the teachers. Miss Temple helped me. I learned to teach young girls like me. When I was older, I became a teacher at Lowood. I taught reading and numbers. I lived in a small room. I did my best to help the girls learn well. Miss Temple got married and left the school. I missed her very much. Without her, Lowood felt cold again. I wanted a new life, far from the school. After Miss Temple left Lowood, I wanted to leave too. I wrote an advertisement to work as a teacher. A woman named Mrs. Fairfax wrote back to me. She needed a teacher for a girl at a house called Thornfield Hall. I packed my things and said goodbye. Then I got on a coach and left Lowood School. The ride was long, but I did not feel tired. I looked out at green hills and wide fields. I was happy. I was starting a new life in a new place. When I got to Thornfield Hall, a woman opened the door and smiled. She showed me a warm room and gave me food. I asked, "Are you Mrs. Fairfax?" "Yes, my dear," she said. She was old but kind. She told me about the girl I would teach. Her name was Adele. She was the child of Mr. Rochester's friend. Mr. Rochester owned Thornfield Hall, but he was not home. I would teach Adele during the day. I went to bed early, feeling tired but hopeful. In the morning, I met Adele. She was small and full of energy. She spoke French to me, but I understood her. We began our lessons right away. Adele loved songs and pictures. She learned new words with joy. I liked teaching her. She was not my child, but I cared for her like she was mine. Later, Mrs. Fairfax showed me the house. It was large, with many rooms and long halls. We went up to the roof. I saw green land all around us. Each day, I walked in the halls of Thornfield. The rooms were quiet. The curtains moved slowly in the wind. I liked the peace of the house. But one day, I heard a strange sound in a dark hallway. It was a loud laugh. It did not sound happy. It made me feel cold and afraid. I asked Mrs. Fairfax, "Who made that laugh?" She looked serious and said, "It was Grace Poole. She works here. Do not worry about her, Jane." One cold day, I was walking near the road. It was wet and very icy. A man on a black horse came fast. The horse fell, and the man fell too. He looked hurt. I ran to help him. His foot was in pain. He could not get up by himself. I gave him my hand and helped him stand. He looked at me with dark, strong eyes. He said, "Do you work at Thornfield Hall?" I said yes. He got back on his horse and left. When I came home, I learned that man was Mr. Rochester. That night, a servant came to me. She said Mr. Rochester wanted to meet me. I was nervous. I put on my clean dress and brushed my hair. In the sitting room, Mr. Rochester sat near the fire. His foot was up on a small stool. He looked at me and said, "Sit down, Miss Eyre." Mrs. Fairfax said I was the new teacher. Mr. Rochester asked me many things. He did not smile, but he listened to my answers quietly. We talked by the fire again after a few days. Mr. Rochester looked into the flames. He asked, "Do you think I am a good-looking man?" "No, sir," I said truthfully. He laughed and said, "You are honest. I like that." Then he spoke about his past and about people who hurt him. I listened to him. I did not speak much, but I liked being near him. He talked more each day. His words made me smile inside my heart. Mr. Rochester asked me to sit with him often. We talked about books, places, and life. I liked how he thought. He was different from others. Sometimes he was quiet, sometimes not. He looked at me like I was worth something. I waited for his voice each evening. I missed him when he left. One night, I knew something in my heart. I loved him. It felt light and warm. But I was still just a governess. He was the master of the house. When Mr. Rochester came back to Thornfield, he brought many guests. One woman came on a white horse. She had dark hair and a red dress. Mrs. Fairfax said, "That is Miss Ingram." Miss Ingram was very pretty. She walked tall and smiled. But when she saw me, she did not say hello. I sat with Adele while the guests talked. Miss Ingram said, "I do not like governesses." I felt small. Mr. Rochester heard her but said nothing. Each evening I joined the guests. They drank tea and laughed. I sat in the back. Miss Ingram and Mr. Rochester talked all the time. I felt sad and alone. Sometimes Mr. Rochester looked at me, but he did not smile. I thought, he will marry Miss Ingram. She's rich. I am just a teacher with no family. I looked in the mirror and thought, I am not pretty, and I wear plain clothes. Miss Ingram wears fine dresses. I cannot be like her. One night, a new man came to the house. He said, "My name is Mr. Mason." When Mr. Rochester saw him, his face turned white like snow. Later, Mr. Rochester said, "Jane, I feel strange. Stay near me tonight." I said yes and went to my room. At midnight, I heard a loud scream. The scream came from upstairs. Mr. Rochester told the guests, "It was a dream. Go to bed." But he came to my door and said, "Come with me, Jane." He took me to a dark room. Mr. Mason was there. His shirt was red with blood. Mr. Rochester said, "Clean his arm, Jane. Do not speak to him." Mr. Mason sat in a chair. His face looked tired. As I cleaned his cut, he said no word. Then I heard the strange laugh again, just like before. Mr. Rochester said, "You can go now." I went to my room but could not sleep. The laugh stayed in my ears. I thought of the night of the fire. After the night of the scream and the wound, days went by. One evening, Mr. Rochester said, "Jane, come walk with me in the garden. The air is soft tonight." We walked on the green grass. The sky was pink and blue. He asked, "Do you like Thornfield Hall?" I said, "Yes. I feel safe and calm here. I like teaching Adele." He looked at the trees and said, "One day Adele will leave for school." I felt sad. I was quiet. He looked at me and said, "You would leave too, I think." "Yes, I must leave if Adele goes," I said. "I will find a new job. I will go far from here." My heart felt heavy. I did not want to say those words aloud. Mr. Rochester walked slowly. Then he stopped and looked at me. "I am going to get married, Jane," he said. I felt cold. I could not look in his eyes. "Then there is no place for me here," I said. "You will not need me anymore." I turned to go back to the house. My steps were small and weak. "Wait, Jane," he said. "You are wrong. I am not marrying Miss Ingram. I told no one that. I do not love her." I stopped. My heart beat fast. He came closer. His voice was soft now. "Jane," he said, "I do not want you to go. I want you to stay. I love you with all my heart. Will you marry me?" I looked at him. My eyes were wide. "You love me? A simple teacher?" I said. "Yes, I love you, Jane Eyre," he said. "Say yes. Be my wife." My hands shook, but I smiled. "Yes, Mr. Rochester, I will marry you," I said. He held my hand. His face was filled with joy. I was very happy too. "No more, Miss Ingram," he said. "No more sadness for you. We will be together." We stood under a tree as the wind moved the leaves slowly. That night I could not sleep. But it was not fear that kept me up. It was joy. My heart felt warm. My life would change. I would not be alone again. The morning of the wedding came. I put on my white dress and looked at myself in the mirror. My veil was ready. I wanted the day to be perfect and bright. But the night before, something strange happened. I woke up and saw a woman in my room. She had dark hair and a strange face. She said no words. She stood in front of the mirror. She picked up my wedding veil with her hands. Slowly, she looked at it. Then she tore it in two right down the middle. The sound of cloth tearing woke me fully. I sat up in my bed, afraid. The woman looked at me one last time, then walked out without a sound. In the morning, I told Mr. Rochester. He came to my room and saw the torn veil on the floor. His face went dark. He picked it up slowly. He said, "It was Grace Poole again. She is not well in her mind, but she will not harm you. I will keep you safe, Jane." I wanted to believe him. We walked to the church in silence. The sky was gray. I held Mr. Rochester's hand. My steps felt slow, like something heavy rested on my heart. Inside the church, people waited. As we stood by the altar, a loud voice came from the back. "Stop," the man said. "Mr. Rochester cannot marry. He has a wife." I looked up at Mr. Rochester. His face was white. He said nothing. The man with the loud voice stepped forward. He spoke about a woman living at Thornfield. "She lives on the top floor," the man said. "She is his wife. Her name is Bertha Mason." The guests gasped. I looked at Mr. Rochester but stayed quiet. Mr. Rochester put his hand on my arm. He said, "Come with me. I will show you the truth." We walked back to Thornfield in silence with slow steps. He took me up the stairs. At the end of a dark hallway, he opened a heavy door. Inside, a big woman held another woman by the arms. She looked wild. Her hair was long and black. Her eyes were big and full of fire. She ran at us and made loud sounds. The big woman held her back and closed the door fast. Mr. Rochester said, "This is Bertha, my wife. I married her years ago, but she went mad. I keep her here with Miss Poole to watch her." I looked at him with tears in my eyes. He looked tired. "I wanted a new life, Jane," he said. "I wanted to be happy." My heart was full of pain.